pleased to see is this whole array of projects around Hadoop that provide you with this wide variety of kinds of computation you can do. We've got a variety of SQL engines, so you can do SQL queries and that everybody's knows and loves from their years of experience with it. You can do search engine things like with Lucene and Solar and Elasticsearch. You can do graph analytics. You can do predictive analytics. This is growing suite, streaming real-time online processing, NoSQL stores, very large key value stores. So it's actually become a superset of the capabilities that you had in a traditional enterprise technology at a fraction of the cost, and with also some new benefits of that you can, once you have a variety of tools together on one platform, at a low cost, you can afford to store more kinds of data in their raw form, which lets you explore your data and discover new applications. And we saw this at Yahoo. Google has seen this as you initially build a cluster to solve some big problem you have, saving you money. You got a clear reason why you need to do this, but then you start. Somebody says, "Hey, I got this idea. I wonder now since we have this thing and all these data sources together, let's try this." And you discover all these new applications and new uses of your data. And Yahoo within actually before we even did the search had 3 or 4 successes that they hadn't planned for. They wouldn't have built this resource for them. Improve spell checker and search suggester and way of deciding how to place and order ads on a page. All these things that they could quantitatively evaluate things that they hadn't been able to before, and really back them with data. So it's you've got this ecosystem that's not controlled by any one party. That's really evolves freely in the way that the community, the way that the users like, in the way that people find valuable. You've got folks like grad students at Berkeley writing projects which they think are a good idea, and then the entire community of people who are out there who are deploying these systems across all kinds of industries can decide whether that's useful. And this is how the industries as a whole are becoming driven by IT predominantly. Harnessing the data that we're generating as we use more and more devices everywhere in our lives was really going to be the accelerant for just about every industry. I kind of took it as an article of faith in 2009 when I joined Cloudera. Mike Olson is one of the founders of Cloudera. Really, I could tell he believed it, and Mike's a really honest guy who wouldn't BS you. And so I was like, well, if you believe it, I'll go along. And so I've since really seen it come true. Mike had a really good intuition there, and we see customers in industries I never thought that I would have anything to do with. My dad was in heavy industry, and I always figured I was in software that never the twain shall meet. We're selling to Caterpillar, to railways, to people, oil companies looking for oil, to retailers, banks, insurance companies, you name it. Everybody is finding value in their data and using this crazy open source software stuff. So it was a big surprise to me, and I'm very pleased to be able to help it, and to have help it get started, and continue to help folks find value in the technology. I believe it is a better approach, and that it's going to continue to bear a lot of fruit. That we're going to continue to see new technologies arrive here. that will give people new capabilities at lower costs, and that it's going to help, drive the economy.